In the span of our 10-year relationship, 8 years of which we've been married with 2 children, my wife and I have encountered an unexpected and challenging twist. Around 3 years into our marriage, I began to notice a shift in my wife's preferences when it came to the shows and movies we enjoyed together during our weekly movie nights. Initially dismissed as harmless attraction, it became increasingly evident that my wife had developed a particular fondness for Asian characters, particularly in the realm of popular culture. This revelation unfolded during our recent exploration of the TV series Chicago Med, where she expressed a playful desire for one of the characters, Dr. Choi, to be her doctor. What initially seemed like a light-hearted comment soon took a more serious turn when she insisted on stopping the show after Dr. Choi entered into a relationship with another character. Reflecting on our entire relationship, it became apparent that Asian men, particularly those portrayed in popular culture, had consistently captured her attention. Over the past few years, this fascination extended to the realm of K-pop, where my wife developed a playful obsession with certain members, openly expressing that she would have preferred being with individuals like Eric Moon and Jimin. It was during these moments that she even made remarks about feeling disappointed for ending up with a white man, implying that our children were not as cute as she had envisioned. Adding a layer of complexity to the situation, a childhood friend of mine who happens to be Korean regularly visits us. While I had sensed a subtle awkwardness in her interactions with him, it didn't raise significant concern until a recent conversation unfolded. During a heart-to-heart about our intimate life, my wife unexpectedly suggested the idea of opening our marriage to a third person, citing a perceived lack of fulfillment. As we delved deeper into the conversation, she eventually disclosed that she had been grappling with thoughts and urges related to my childhood friend. Stunned and uneasy, I expressed my discomfort and decided to discontinue the discussion, opting to sleep in the living room that night. The following morning, she took our children to school and left to assist her sister with packing, as her sister was preparing to move soon. Since that night, we haven't engaged in any meaningful communication. Now, as I find myself contemplating the future of our relationship, the idea of divorce looms large. It's disheartening to consider that the woman I once fell in love with may no longer be present, and the suspicion that she may have acted upon her urges with my childhood friend adds an additional layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. As I sit in my car outside my office, reluctant to return home and face the uncertainty that awaits, I grapple with the question of whether contemplating divorce is too drastic a response to what may have initially started as a simple fantasy. I appreciate the support from the community, and I apologize for the delayed update. Things have been hectic at home. To provide a more detailed account, on the night I initially posted, my wife and I were still not communicating. During the time when she was putting the kids to bed, I seized the chance to have a private conversation with my friend. Choosing to sleep outside for the night, I made a call to my friend, feeling the need to discuss the unfolding situation with him in a more personal manner. It was crucial for me to share the full extent of the details and seek his perspective on the matter. The revelation about my wife's desires and the emotional turmoil it brought had left me in a state of confusion and vulnerability. In reaching out to my friend, I was seeking guidance and understanding from someone outside the immediate situation. The intricacies of the conversation delved into the complexity of my wife's actions, the potential implications for our relationship, and the emotional toll it had taken on me. As the night unfolded, my emotions were a mix of frustration, sadness, and a sense of betrayal. The silence between my wife and me hung heavy in the air, exacerbating the tension and uncertainty of the situation. The need for a heartfelt and honest conversation loomed, yet the difficulty of broaching such a sensitive topic weighed heavily on my mind. The decision to confide in my friend stemmed from a desire to gain insights from someone who had an outsider's perspective. I felt it was crucial to lay bare the details of the unfolding events, hoping that he could provide valuable advice or shed light on aspects that I might be overlooking in the midst of the emotional turmoil. In the subsequent days, the atmosphere at home remained strained. The lack of communication between my wife and me persisted, and I grappled with the impending need for a difficult conversation. The community's support during this challenging time has been invaluable, offering a sense of solace and understanding as I navigate through the complexities of this deeply personal situation. He expressed his sympathy for my situation and condemned my wife's behavior as repulsive. Shockingly, he divulged that a few years into my marriage, my wife, under the influence of alcohol, had made a pass at him during a mutual friend's party. What started as flirtation took a more serious turn when she kissed him, prompting him to leave the party early. I questioned why he had never disclosed this incident before, and he confessed that he didn't want to jeopardize our marriage over something she did while intoxicated. They never discussed it further and continued their friendship as usual. A week later, I realized that the timeline of this incident correlated with the onset of my wife's peculiar fascination with Asian men and media. I thanked my friend for sharing this revelation and ended our conversation. Entering the house, I immediately confronted my wife, my disgust growing after learning about her unwarranted advance on my friend and her proposal to involve him intimately. I candidly expressed my feelings, detailing what my friend had disclosed. My wife confessed to harboring feelings for him for years and attempting to prevent infidelity by suggesting the open relationship. I emphasized that the damage was already done, irreparably affecting the foundation of our marriage. I unequivocally stated our marriage was over and firmly declared my intention to proceed with divorce, unwavering in my decision. In the past week, I've sought refuge with friends and family. Despite my wife's attempts to reach out and rekindle our connection, I've maintained my distance, proud to have given her no attention. While still stopping by the house during the day to see my kids, the gravity of the situation is not discussed in their presence. They are too young to comprehend the complexities. Attending a daycare and schooling program during the summer, which minimizes my time in the house. Currently, I'm actively seeking legal counsel for divorce proceedings and looking for an apartment within my kids' school district. The sense of liberation is palpable. Many of you were right, our marriage had been on life support for an extended period. The prospect of rebuilding trust is daunting, and I'm uncertain if I can ever view my friend in the same light again. I am considering heart therapy to address the issues in my marriage, especially since my childhood friend is involved, and losing him would be devastating. In response to a crucial piece of advice received, I've ensured that my actions do not jeopardize any legal aspects related to the house and children. Although I don't sleep at the house, I make sure to be present while my kids are there, leaving when they are gone. The house is owned by my wife's parents, so she remains there, and my consistent presence is documented through the daycare and schooling program's sign-in process, which requires both the child's and my name. I've also documented this with photos of my children throughout the week. While this situation is temporary, I have secured a move-in date for an apartment nearby, which aligns well with my plans. Anticipating potential custody issues, my current interactions with my wife suggest that a 50-50 arrangement for the kids might be agreeable, but I understand the importance of legal advice in such matters. Now, transitioning to the next story update involving my 24-year-old female perspective and my boyfriend's 25-year-old male creepy best friend, things have taken a concerning turn. In a 3-year relationship with my boyfriend, we've been living together for 6 months. His childhood friend, whom he regards as a brother, has raised serious red flags with his questionable behavior, including past incidents of abusive behavior towards women. Despite my boyfriend's intervention in a previous abusive incident, the friend's troublesome track record leaves me uneasy. While my boyfriend is a genuinely kind person, the dynamics surrounding his best friend's actions raise significant concerns. The complexities of this situation are weighing heavily on me, and I'm navigating it with a sense of caution and introspection. The reluctance to press charges against my boyfriend's friend stemmed from the girl's trust in my boyfriend to safeguard her and honor his commitments. Despite my initial reservations, my boyfriend provided an explanation for his friend's troubled past, attempting to rationalize his behavior. This justification led me to reluctantly accept my boyfriend's decision to maintain the friendship, and for a period, it seemed that his friend was on a positive trajectory as he sought therapy. However, the situation took a turn for the worse after we moved in together. His friend's presence became increasingly intrusive, often giving orders within the confines of our home. Instead of addressing this issue, my boyfriend opted to fulfill his friend's requests, further exacerbating the tension between us. A critical moment occurred when his friend openly told my boyfriend to get her under control, prompting an immediate apology to him and a subsequent apology to me for taking sides. The discomfort heightened with the unsettling way his friend looked at me, making me hesitant to wear certain clothing even in the privacy of our home. Despite my boyfriend's attempts to limit his friend's visits, he continued to show up uninvited. In a recent incident, he refused to leave until he had spoken to my boyfriend, leaving me alone with him in an uncomfortable situation. During their conversation, his friend crossed boundaries by delving into our private life, questioning and discussing the attention my boyfriend receives from other women. Despite my earnest pleas for my boyfriend to sever ties with this problematic friend, he remains unwilling to do so. His rationale revolves around a sense of loyalty owed to his friend for being there during challenging times. The strain from this ongoing situation is now pushing me to contemplate the difficult decision of leaving my boyfriend. Despite the overall positive aspects of our relationship, this unwillingness to cut ties with a friend whose behavior is causing distress has become a significant and potentially relationship-altering issue. I find myself standing at a crossroads, torn between the deep love I feel for my boyfriend and the imperative to prioritize my own well-being. Seeking advice from those who have navigated similar situations, especially when dealing with a partner enabling a friend with a complicated past, would be immensely valuable. The challenge lies in recognizing that a troubled history does not excuse mistreatment of others, and finding a resolution that preserves both my emotional health and the integrity of the relationship. The need for my boyfriend to confront his friend's problematic behavior rather than consistently tiptoeing around it has become increasingly apparent. Your perspective resonates with my feelings of frustration and the inclination to distance myself from a situation where my boyfriend actively prevented a woman from seeking help after an assault. It goes beyond being a nice person, it involves enabling behavior that is entirely unacceptable. The characterization of my boyfriend as a genuinely good person is now under scrutiny, as he seems more like an apologist providing support for his friend's reprehensible actions. The incident where he protected and excused his friend's actions toward an assaulted woman is a glaring red flag. Your concern about my seemingly quick dismissal of this issue is valid, and it prompts a necessary reassessment of what I find acceptable in a relationship. While my boyfriend's loyalty is commendable and his attempts to guide his friend towards therapy are well-intentioned, the troubling history between them raises questions about the viability of our relationship. The inappropriate questions about our intimate life from his friend only add to the concern. While my boyfriend's promise not to protect his friend a second time is a positive step, the lingering question remains: if his friend crosses certain boundaries or violates trust, what actions should I expect my boyfriend to take? Now, onto the update. Seeking advice from the Reddit community over a week ago prompted a decision to make my boyfriend aware of the situation. Despite my intentions to shed light on the gravity of the issue, his reaction was unexpectedly negative. After spending a considerable time reading the replies in silence, he erupted in anger, accusing me of sharing private details online and portraying him as an abusive partner. According to him, I lacked a complete understanding of the situation. This disagreement escalated into a major fight, prompting me to walk out on him temporarily, seeking refuge with a cousin. However, an unforeseen development arose when one of his co-workers contacted me, inquiring about his injuries, a busted lip and a swollen face. Intrigued by this unexpected turn, I contacted him, and he revealed that he had gotten into a physical altercation with his friend over me. This new layer of complexity has further complicated an already challenging situation. The uncertainty surrounding the future of our relationship looms large, and I grapple with conflicting emotions as I navigate through the aftermath of the recent events. The decision to propose pressing charges against my boyfriend's friend, met with his refusal, left me grappling with the complexities of our relationship. Despite the severed ties with his friend and being a victim himself, my boyfriend expressed discontent over my choice to share our situation online instead of engaging in a direct conversation. This frustration further complicated our already strained connection, prompting us to mutually agree on ending the relationship. As we navigate the aftermath, uncertainties loom over practical matters such as the shared apartment, intensifying the emotional toll on both of us. The hope that our separation would prompt a reconsideration on his part was met with a realization that my expectations might have been unrealistic. As I reflect on the situation, I am left questioning if my decision to share our story online contributed to the unfortunate turn of events. This period of self-reflection is fraught with feelings of self-loathing and uncertainty about the future. Your perspective on the situation has provided a sense of solace, suggesting that the decision to end the relationship was the right one. The idea that my ex-boyfriend may be grappling with a recognition of his own shortcomings, deflecting blame onto me, is a nuanced perspective that adds depth to my understanding of the situation. It's reassuring to consider that avoiding physical harm was a positive outcome amidst the turmoil. While the specifics of the original post weren't delved into, your conviction that separation is the best long-term solution aligns with the sentiments I am currently navigating. The journey ahead involves not only getting back on my feet emotionally but also untangling the complex web of emotions associated with this challenging situation. The willingness to return if he had asked contrasts with the realization that this separation might indeed be for the best, marking the beginning of a period of personal growth and self-discovery. The notion of karma and cosmic intervention resonates, emphasizing the consequential nature of enabling behavior. The recognition that I am now free from both the enabler and the abuser brings a sense of liberation despite the challenges that lie ahead. Your words of support, coupled with the acknowledgement of the potential for finding peace and comfort in this newfound freedom, offer a hopeful perspective that I will undoubtedly carry with me as I navigate the uncertainties of the future. Thank you for your insightful and encouraging words.